Imagine standing at the foot of the cross, witnessing the final moments of a man whose life has profoundly impacted history. In today's episode of Decode Vale, we delve into the powerful story of the Roman soldier who witnessed Jesus' last minutes on the cross. This account, often overlooked, offers profound insights into faith, redemption, and the transformative power of divine love. Context and background. Jesus' journey to the cross was marked by abandonment, ridicule, humiliation, and torture. His path was one of immense suffering, reflecting the depth of his sacrifice. At noon, darkness covered the land until 3 p.m., an event attributed to divine intervention, not an eclipse. This extraordinary occurrence signaled a moment of cosmic significance, underscoring the gravity of the event unfolding. To set the stage for the soldier's story, let's briefly overview the crucifixion scene. Jesus, already weakened from severe flogging, was forced to carry his cross to Golgotha, the place of his execution. He was nailed to the cross, a method of execution reserved for the most heinous criminals, designed to maximize pain and public humiliation. Crucifixion in Roman culture was not just a form of capital punishment but also a powerful tool for maintaining order and instilling fear. It was intended to be a public spectacle, a deterrent to any who might challenge Roman authority. For early Christians, Jesus' crucifixion was not only a moment of profound sorrow but also the cornerstone of their faith, symbolizing the ultimate sacrifice for humanity's redemption. Historical accounts. Phlegon of Tralles and other historical figures described similar darkness and an earthquake, aligning with biblical accounts. Phlegon, a Greek historian writing in the 2nd century, recorded an extraordinary solar eclipse accompanied by an earthquake during the reign of Tiberius, which many believe corresponds with the time of Jesus' crucifixion. Various early Christian writers, including Saint Cyprian and Saint Chrysostom, interpreted the darkness as a cosmic response to Jesus' crucifixion. Saint Cyprian, a 3rd century bishop and theologian, saw the darkening of the skies as a sign of nature mourning the death of Christ. Similarly, Saint Chrysostom, a 4th century archbishop and eloquent preacher, viewed the darkness as a divine testimony to the significance of Jesus' sacrifice. These historical and theological interpretations underline the profound impact of Jesus' death, not just on those present but on the broader spiritual and natural realms. The convergence of these accounts with the biblical narrative adds a layer of historical validation to the events described in the Gospels, enriching our understanding of their significance. Crucifixion details. Jesus cried out in Aramaic, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," meaning my God, why have you forsaken me?" This poignant cry, drawn from Psalm 22, encapsulates the depth of Jesus' suffering and his sense of abandonment in his final moments. Bystanders misinterpreted his cry as a call for Elijah. In Jewish tradition, Elijah was believed to return to rescue the righteous in times of trouble, and the onlookers mockingly waited to see if Elijah would come to Jesus' aid. Jesus was offered vinegar to drink, a gesture likely meant to mock him. This sour wine, a cheap drink common among soldiers and the poor, was offered to further humiliate Jesus, highlighting the cruelty he endured. The cross, in Christian theology, is a profound symbol of both suffering and salvation. It represents the intersection of human sin and divine love, where Jesus bore the weight of humanity's transgressions. The cross is also a symbol of victory over sin and death, embodying the hope of resurrection and eternal life. The concept of atonement is central to understanding Jesus' death. In Christian mysticism, atonement refers to the reconciliation between God and humanity made possible through Jesus' sacrifice. Jesus is seen as the ultimate sacrificial lamb, whose death atones for the sins of the world. This act of divine love and mercy is believed to restore the broken relationship between God and humanity, offering believers the promise of forgiveness and eternal life. Temple veil tearing. The veil in the temple, separating the Holy of Holies, was torn from top to bottom, symbolizing the end of the Old Covenant and the opening of the way to God through Jesus. This event, recorded in the Gospels of Matthew 27:51, Mark 15:38, and Luke 23:45, signifies a profound theological shift. The Holy of Holies was the innermost and most sacred area of the ancient temple in Jerusalem, where the presence of God was believed to dwell. Only the high priest could enter this sacred space, and only once a year, on the Day of Atonement, to offer a blood sacrifice for the sins of the people. The tearing of the veil at the moment of Jesus' death symbolizes the removal of the barrier between God and humanity. It marks the fulfillment of the Old Covenant and the establishment of a new covenant, where direct access to God is granted through Jesus' sacrifice. Specific scriptures that reference this event include Matthew 27:51, "At that moment the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The earth shook, the rocks split." Mark 15:38, "The curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom." Luke 23:45, "For the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two." These accounts highlight the significance of this divine act, emphasizing the accessibility to God made possible through the death of Jesus. It underscores the transformative power of Jesus' sacrifice, opening a new path for believers to approach God with confidence and faith. The Centurion's Declaration. A Roman centurion, overseeing the crucifixion, declared Jesus as the Son of God after witnessing his demeanor and the supernatural events. This moment is recorded in the Gospels of Matthew 27:54, Mark 15:39, and Luke 23:47, where the centurion's reaction to the extraordinary occurrences around Jesus' death is highlighted. The declaration, "Surely this man was the Son of God," is significant for several reasons. As a Roman officer, the centurion was a representative of the occupying force and held a position of authority and skepticism towards the Jewish claims of a Messiah. His acknowledgement of Jesus' divine identity, therefore, carries immense weight. This recognition from a Roman centurion underscores the universal impact of Jesus' death. It wasn't just the disciples or Jewish followers who were moved by the events, but even those outside the Jewish faith and culture. The centurion's declaration points to a moment of profound realization and faith, highlighting the power of Jesus' sacrifice to transcend cultural and religious boundaries. This moment also serves as a powerful testimony within the gospel narratives, reinforcing the belief in Jesus' divine nature and the transformative effect of his crucifixion. It suggests that Jesus' identity as the Son of God was evident even to those who were initially unbelievers, further validating the Christian faith. Reflections on the Centurion. Speculate on the centurion's possible involvement in Jesus' suffering and his ultimate realization of Jesus' divinity. The centurion, as an officer overseeing the crucifixion, may have been involved in the events leading up to and including Jesus' execution. He likely witnessed or even participated in the mockery, the flogging, and the nailing of Jesus to the cross. This involvement makes his declaration all the more striking. Imagine the inner conflict the centurion might have experienced as he observed Jesus' responses to the torture and humiliation. Unlike typical criminals, Jesus did not curse his tormentors. Instead, he prayed for their forgiveness. This unexpected behavior could have planted the seeds of doubt and reflection in the centurion's mind. As the hours passed, the centurion witnessed supernatural events, the darkness that covered the land and the earthquake that shook the ground. These occurrences, coupled with Jesus' composed demeanor and his final words, likely led to a profound shift in the centurion's understanding. The centurion's recognition of Jesus as the Son of God, despite his death, highlights a unique moment of faith. It demonstrates a profound transformation from a hardened Roman soldier to a believer in Jesus' divine nature. This moment of recognition underscores the power of Jesus' sacrifice, and its ability to touch and transform even those who were initially adversarial. The Centurion's declaration serves as a testament to the compelling nature of Jesus' death and the divine truth it revealed. His acknowledgement stands as an early example of how Jesus' message and sacrifice began to transcend cultural and religious barriers, reaching into the heart of the Roman world. Impact of Jesus' death. The tearing of the veil and the Centurion's declaration underline the significance of Jesus' sacrifice, opening the path to God for all believers. The tearing of the temple veil symbolizes the removal of the barrier between humanity and God, signifying that through Jesus' death, all people now have direct access to the divine. The Centurion's declaration further emphasizes this point, showing that even those who were initially far from Jesus' message can come to recognize and accept his divine nature. Share stories of modern individuals who have had transformative spiritual experiences akin to the Centurion's moment of revelation. For example, consider the account of a hardened skeptic who, upon facing a life-altering event, experiences a profound spiritual awakening. Their story mirrors the Centurion's journey from doubt and opposition to faith and acceptance, highlighting the enduring and universal impact of Jesus' sacrifice. Illustrate how these stories reflect the timeless nature of divine encounters and spiritual awakenings. Just as the Centurion's recognition of Jesus as the Son of God was a powerful moment of faith, modern testimonies of conversion and spiritual renewal show that divine encounters continue to transform lives. These experiences are a testament to the persistent presence and power of the divine in the world, bridging the gap between historical events and contemporary faith. Emphasize the personal impact of Jesus' death and call for viewers to acknowledge and accept his sacrifice. Encourage viewers to reflect on their own lives and consider how the story of the Centurion, and the transformative power of Jesus' death might resonate with them personally. Invite them to open their hearts to the possibility of spiritual renewal, and to recognize the profound significance of Jesus' sacrifice in their own journey of faith. Integration with Decode Vale. Throughout the narrative, subtly mention how Decode Vale seeks to uncover and explain such profound stories, making them accessible and relatable for today's audience. Highlight the mission of Decode Vale in bringing deeper spiritual and theological insights to a broad audience, bridging the gap between ancient texts and modern understanding. For instance, during the discussion on the significance of the tearing of the temple veil, you could say, as we've explored in previous episodes on Decode Vale, the symbolism of the temple veil and its tearing opens a profound pathway to understanding the depth of Jesus' sacrifice. Highlight previous episodes that touch on similar themes, encouraging viewers to explore more content on the channel. Mention episodes such as the exploration of the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus' anguish and resolve were depicted, or the episode on the resurrection, examining the aftermath of Jesus' sacrifice and its impact on the early Christian community. By referring to these episodes, viewers are encouraged to delve deeper into the rich tapestry of Christian mysticism and theology that Decode Vale offers, fostering a deeper connection with the content and the channel. Thank you for joining us on Decode Vale as we explored the poignant story of the soldier at the cross. What are your thoughts on this soldier's experience? Have you ever had a moment that profoundly changed your perspective on faith? Share your stories in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest episodes. Remember, each story we uncover on Decode Vale is a step closer to deeper spiritual understanding and enlightenment. Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and let the light of faith guide your path. Reflect on Jesus' sacrifice and consider the serious implications of rejecting his message. Accept Jesus and recognize the transformative power of his death and resurrection.